All right, so we have a lot going on here. First, we need to figure out what are the points that I'm going to graph for my parabola, which is my top equation, and then for my line, which is the bottom equation. We also have to pay attention to the shading and whether or not we're going to use a solid or a dashed line. So for my top inequality, sorry, I do not have a bar underneath my inequality sign, so that means I know I'm going to be using a dotted line or a dotted curve. And then my symbol is less than, so I'm going to shade underneath or shade below. All right, so let's take a look at this one. I think the best way to do this is to make a table of values. And remember that we always want to have 5 values in our table. And the middle value, we're going to figure out our x value by doing negative b over 2a. So I'm going to do this scratch work kind of over to the side here. My b value is 4, so it would be negative 4 over 2 times 1, because my a value is 1. And this would come out to be negative 2. So that's what I want in the middle of my table here. And then from there, I'm going to go down 2 x values and up 2 x values. Now at this point, you could use your calculator. I'm not going to show that part. If that's something you're struggling with, you should go back and watch some of the videos from 6.9. So I'm just going to fill them in. And like I said, if you want to see where they're coming from, you can use your calculator. So this is negative 3, negative 4, negative 3, and 0. So now I'm going to plot these points. So negative 4, 0, negative 3, negative 3, negative 2, negative 4, 1, negative 1, negative 3, and 0, 0. And when I connect the dots, I'm going to connect them with a dotted line. So I'm making a parabola, but it's a dotted parabola. Okay, and then I have to do shading. We said we were going to shade below or underneath. This one is not, it's a little bit tricky to understand, more so than it is for lines. If we were going to shade below, that would actually be everything outside the parabola. So again, with one of my kind of like silly ways to think of things, I think of it like if you poured water onto the parabola like this, wherever the water would touch is above the parabola, and wherever the water would not touch would be under the parabola. So that's why I did the yellow part. Okay, so the next part is our line. So we just did this in yellow. Our line I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight with blue, and that one is just a regular line. It's already in slope-intercept form. So my y-intercept is 4, and then my slope is 1. So if it makes you feel better, you can write in the 1 over 1 for the rise over run. So I'm going to do, I'm going to go up 1, right 1, and then down 1, left 1. Actually, I'm going to go up 1, right 1 more time, and then down 1, left 1, down 1, down 1. Okay, so I can see very clearly where this one is crossing, the one that I just did. I cannot see as clearly where the other one crosses, but that's okay. We don't need to know the exact numbers. If we were solving and we had to find the exact ordered pair, that would be a lot more important. What you could do if you really wanted to know exactly where those two things cross is I could figure out, it looks like maybe they cross at 1 or 2. So I would maybe plug in 1 into this equation or this inequality right here. Really, I'm just looking for a number so we can kind of treat it like an equation. So if I plugged in 1 for x, that would be 1 squared plus 4 times 1. So that would be 5. And it looks like that's where the line is crossing right here at 5. So my purple line is a little bit off, but that's okay. So anyway, but I digress. So I'm going to come back to the pink line. This one is also a dotted line because it doesn't have the bar underneath it. And when I do my shading, I will also shade below. So I'm going to connect these dots with a dotted line. Okay. And then I'm shading below this line, and I'm shading below the line in blue. So you can see that everywhere that's turning green, where the blue and the yellow are mixing, that part is my solution. Any part that is just yellow or just blue is not part of my solution. So my actual solution is that whole little section under the line and under the parabola.